Ketamine is a complex substance with a fascinating history. It was first developed as an anesthetic, but its journey has been far from straightforward. Today, it stands at a crossroads. On one side, it offers hope for those battling mental health conditions. On the other, it poses risks as a recreational drug. The story of ketamine is one of transformation. It began in operating rooms. Now it finds itself in both clinics and club scenes. This duality makes it a subject of intense interest and debate. Doctors, researchers, and policymakers are all grappling with its potential and pitfalls. In medical settings, it can provide relief from depression and anxiety. But in recreational use, it can lead to dissociation and addiction. Understanding these effects is crucial. It helps us navigate the complex landscape of ketamine use. Ketamine's story begins in the 1960s. It was synthesized by Calvin Stevens at Parke-Davis Laboratories. Ketamine showed promise early on. In 1970, the FDA approved ketamine for human use. It quickly found its place in medical settings. During the Vietnam War, ketamine became a go-to anesthetic for injured soldiers. This led to ketamine's emergence as a recreational drug in the 1980s and 1990s. In recent years, ketamine has experienced a renaissance in the medical world. Researchers have discovered its potential in treating mental health conditions. This has led to a surge of interest in ketamine therapy, particularly for treatment-resistant depression and anxiety disorders. The turning point came in the early 2000s. Studies began to show ketamine's rapid antidepressant effects. Unlike traditional antidepressants, which can take weeks to work, ketamine showed results within hours. This was groundbreaking. It offered hope to patients who had found little relief from other treatments. Dr. Emily Rodriguez. As research progressed, the applications of ketamine expanded. It showed promise in treating PTSD, OCD, and even chronic pain conditions. Clinics specializing in ketamine therapy began to open across the country. The FDA's approval of esketamine, a ketamine derivative, in 2019 marked a significant milestone. It was the first new approach to treating depression in decades. This approval brought ketamine further into the mainstream of mental health treatment. Understanding how ketamine works in the brain is crucial to grasping its effects. Ketamine primarily acts as an NMDA receptor antagonist. This means it blocks a specific type of glutamate receptor in the brain. Glutamate is a neurotransmitter involved in learning, memory, and neuroplasticity. By blocking NMDA receptors, ketamine triggers a cascade of effects in the brain. It increases the release of other neurotransmitters, particularly glutamate. This leads to increased connectivity between neurons. Dr. Hiroshi Tanaka. Scientists believe this rapid boost in neuroplasticity may be key to ketamine's antidepressant effects. Ketamine also influences other neurotransmitter systems. It affects dopamine, serotonin, and norepinephrine pathways. This broad impact contributes to its complex effects on mood, perception, and cognition. At higher doses, ketamine can induce a dissociative state. Users may feel detached from their body or surroundings. The body metabolizes ketamine relatively quickly, with effects typically lasting about an hour when used medically. Section 5, Case Study 1, Therapeutic Use of Ketamine.
I'm Sarah, a 35-year-old teacher, and I had struggled with severe depression for over a decade. I had tried numerous antidepressants and therapies without success. My depression had become treatment-resistant. It affected every aspect of my life, from work to relationships. I felt like I was running out of options.
After consulting with her psychiatrist, Sarah decided to try ketamine therapy. She began a series of 6 infusions over 2 weeks. The treatments were administered in a controlled clinical setting. Each session lasted about an hour, with close monitoring by medical staff.
My response to the treatment was remarkable. After the 3rd infusion, I reported a significant lift in my mood. The persistent feelings of hopelessness began to subside. By the end of the 6-session course, Sarah's depression symptoms had reduced dramatically.
Section 6, Case Study 2, Recreational Use of Ketamine. Mark, a 28-year-old graphic designer, first encountered ketamine at a music festival. Attracted by its reputation for inducing altered states, he began using it recreationally. What started as occasional use at parties gradually increased in frequency. Mark enjoyed the dissociative effects of ketamine. He described feeling detached from his body and experiencing vivid hallucinations. These experiences provided temporary escape from stress and anxiety. However, they also began to interfere with his daily life. As his use escalated, Mark noticed changes in his cognitive function. He had difficulty concentrating at work. His memory became unreliable. He also experienced physical side effects, including bladder problems and increased tolerance to the drug. After a particularly intense experience that left him disoriented for days, Mark realized he needed help.
Section 7. Comparing therapeutic and recreational use. The cases of Sarah and Mark highlight the stark differences between therapeutic and recreational ketamine use. In Sarah's case, ketamine was administered in a controlled medical setting. Doses were carefully calculated and monitored. The goal was to treat a specific medical condition. This approach minimized risks and maximized potential benefits. Mark's recreational use, on the other hand, lacked these safeguards. The doses and frequency of use were unpredictable. There was no medical oversight. The purpose was to achieve an altered state, not to treat a specific condition. This uncontrolled use led to negative consequences for Mark's health and life. Sarah experienced significant improvement in her depression symptoms. The ketamine therapy was part of a comprehensive treatment plan. It helped her engage more fully in life and other therapies. Mark, however, found himself struggling with addiction and cognitive issues. These cases underscore the importance of context in ketamine use.
Section 8. Potential benefits and risks of ketamine. Ketamine's potential benefits in mental health treatment are significant. It offers rapid relief for treatment-resistant depression. This can be life-saving for patients at risk of suicide. Ketamine has also shown promise in treating anxiety disorders, PTSD, and OCD. Its ability to quickly alleviate symptoms sets it apart from traditional medications. In pain management, ketamine is proven effective for chronic pain conditions. It can provide relief when other treatments fail. This is particularly valuable for patients with complex pain syndromes. Ketamine's anesthetic properties continue to make it useful in emergency and surgical settings. However, ketamine use also carries risks. Even in medical settings, side effects can occur. These may include dissociation, dizziness, and increased blood pressure. Long-term effects of repeated ketamine use are still being studied. The future of ketamine use. Ketamine stands at a crossroads in modern medicine and society. Its potential as a breakthrough treatment for mental health conditions is undeniable. Yet the risks associated with its misuse cannot be ignored. As research continues, we are likely to see further developments. The goal is to maximize benefits while minimizing risks. This includes exploring new delivery methods and combination therapies.